meeting to order. Tammy, could you give us a roll call, please?
Sure.
I didn't look at these out there, I just did blue.
Commissioner Patton, acting
Here.
as Mayor Pro Tem.
Here.
Commissioner Barwick.
Here.
Commissioner Webb.
Here.
Commissioner Stecklin.
Here.
Mayor Absher is absent this evening.
Ron Osmond, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ron. All right, this section, item number 3 on our call to order, public comments, audience to visitors. Subject to ordinance 3128 and amended as ordinance number 3134. Does anybody wish to address the council? Yes, from the public, absolutely.
I have 2 items, and my name is Denise.
If you go to the podium and speak into that microphone, it'd be great.
My name is Denise. I am proud owner of a business in Marion. I've had 2 items I would like to address to the commissioners tonight. One is in regards to our cab service. Years ago, it's always been 24-hour service through Red Top. We also had another one that did not work out. Since COVID, Red Top has stopped from 6 a.m. to 5:45 p.m. I feel there's a big issue with that. 2 reasons, personal and professional. I had to go to work one day when COVID hit, 4 a.m., my car wouldn't start. The cab service was not open. I was in dire need. Had to call a family member at 4 o'clock in the morning. Since COVID's hit, there's no cab service. And also professional when it comes to my business. There are people sometimes would like to relax, have a drink, food, sometimes maybe 2 drinks and they want a cab. Well, they're from out of town, they get a cab service to the professional business and come to find out there's not one to take them back. So I feel like the city of Marion needs to address this in 2 reasons. I mean, 2, maybe the Red Top cab, or even try to figure out Uber. There's one Uber gentleman from Marion to Carbondale, and I feel that there's a problem for that. I would like for you guys to address that somehow, some way. I also have another one in regards to, since I purchased the property in south of town, there's been an odor in Marion for many, many years, and it's regards to the sewage plant. Since I've started the business in August, I feel like it has been crazy. The smell has been horrendous. Sometimes it even makes me sick in the building when it comes through the building. And I feel for the people that live in the area for all these years, and maybe no one's addressed this, because I've been to many other towns that has sewage plants next to them, never smell it. I don't understand why we have this problem. If we could get that addressed, or at least to find out why it's doing this. I honestly lived in this town all my life. Yes, when you drove by, you smelt it a little bit, but now with my business, I don't know how people live around there and smell that all the time. You don't smell it daily, but it's probably through the month 80% of the time, and mostly at night. So I would like for you guys to address that if you could. I appreciate it. Thank you.
If you will leave your contact information with whomever, we'll make sure and get back with you on it. Thank you. Thank you.
I can make a comment on the cab service. Just from my experience, we use cab services in all the cities that we utilize after hours pharmacy services are. And I could tell you Belleville, Centralia, Edwardsville, Glen Carbon, Salem, I'm having the same problem. Most of them aren't 24 hours anymore. They don't have enough help. So I don't think we're unique to Red Top. I saw them out today. I was behind a couple of them around today. I can't speak for Red Top at all. I can just speak for what I've seen from other cities, and that's the fact that they just don't have any drivers. I don't know if that's the problem here or not. We'll find out. We can find out. But
Lack of available drivers. Yeah.
that's what it is there. At least that's what we're being told. So. And on the sewage plant, I'll get with Brent. We'll see if there's anything that's changed or anything like that. I mean, we're pretty keen to that if
Yeah.
we get,
I know we treat it chemically
Oh, yeah.
every day. every week. Glenn could probably address this better than I, but it's,
It can be treated, it's money.
yeah,
It's a chemical feed, we have to feed it at the major lift stations. And, we've had chemical companies come in, they run studies, and it can be done. And we had addressed for a while, I thought it still was, I didn't know it'd come back again. But it can be eliminated.
we'll look into that.
You notice anything at your house?
No,
'Cause I don't-
normally not, no.
I don't either.
I think at the ball game the other night, when I went to the ball game, it was
Yeah.
We
there.
normally don't get a wind though out of the east
Yeah,
coming my direction. It's usually from the south or southwest.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Predator winds are southwest of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right, anyone else? Public comments, anyone else? All right, moving on to number 4, the consent agenda. Items A through G. Look over them. I think most of us have seen them. Does anyone or any of the commissioners or members of the public, general public, like to have items, any of the items A through G removed or voted on separately? 3A. Take that one off.
The presentation.
Yeah.
Did you say 3A? I'm sorry.
Go back to 3.
3A is the presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's put that on pause. Sorry. Got ahead of myself. So 3A are public comments. We have a presentation today from the Marion Center Project, Rodney and his group. Rodney, the floor is yours.
So I didn't realize we were going to be this early on the agenda. I was going to figure out what I was going to say while everybody else was talking. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you guys for having us. We're happy to share a little bit about what we've got going on here in Marion. And always want to take this time to reflect a little bit on what Marion means to us. And we've been here for 15 years now, and I just as years go by, it becomes more and more evident how special it is to be able to do business here. We do business in other states and other really other places all across the country, and there's no didn't expect that either. And you guys are sophisticated. So it truly is a pleasure to do business here, and you guys deserve a lot of credit. This region deserves a lot of notoriety for the opportunities that it creates for businesses, and so I'm very, very happy to be here. Always want to just take a little bit of time and acknowledge some of the people that help us. Shad and I have been doing this for a while, and we can't do what we do without all the support we have from our folks. And so I always want to take time and just give them a little bit of credibility or credit, because they make us look good. And so and I know I don't have a ton of time, so I want to get through this, but it's always important for us to acknowledge our help. And it occurred to me that the folks that we have, that our partners that work with us every day, there's a lot of really talented folks, and they could be anywhere. They could work anywhere in this country, and they choose to work here in Marion. And we like to think that has a little bit to do with us, but it also has to do with this community and our surroundings, and just the fact that this is a good place to live, to go to school, to raise a family. And so I think we should all celebrate that just a little bit. Another thing that's happened over the last couple of years, I just would like to give some credit to the fact that we've taken on a lot of partners as we've worked on this development project. There's been a lot of people that have moved to Marion and decided to make this their home for a while they help us work on the things that we believe will make Marion and the surrounding communities even better than it already is. And so Ryan and Chad Holland, a couple of those folks that have chosen to come be a part of our team, and they deserve some recognition. Last but not least, our families. There's a fine line between work and family, and you try to get that balance. And sometimes our families get set to the side just a little bit, and so just want to recognize the sacrifice. And all of us are dealing with this. We all have. A lot of things that we have to get accomplished, and so sometimes our families take a back seat. But the reason I bring it up is because I've never been involved with something like this that is so worthwhile and is so worth it, in my opinion. So our families are great; they support us, and in the end, it's going to be worth it. Because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity that we're dealing with right now. So, a little bit of an update on the project at the mall. We are doing a lot of design work right now. There's this project continues to evolve. It changes. Sadly, it changes just about every day. We've been traveling all over the country trying to figure out what will fit the best here in Marion and what will give us the biggest bang and create the most tourism for our city. And it just constantly continues to grow and improve, and so and we'll keep doing that. That's what we'll continue to look for opportunities to make this as amazing as it can possibly be. But that's what we're calling the Oasis Project, and as we've been trying to figure out all the pieces that need to go into this to create the most powerful development that we can create, there's been a lot of suggestions that have come along, and sports tourism was one of the things that we have found to be a huge draw for people. And sports tourism is something that's, I don't guess anything's recession proof, but sports tourism is something that's resistant to it. And so as we were growing our development, that's a place where we started to look and really just decided that with the retail and entertainment development that we were doing, sports tourism really it fit and needed to be a part of that. And so that kind of brings us to what we really want to talk to the council about tonight, and that is as everyone may have heard, the Simmons family that owns Rent One Park and the Miners baseball team, they recently announced that they were retiring from baseball. And so the stadium is just amazing, an amazing jewel for the city of Marion, and and they've done a great job with baseball. They've set all kinds of records and brought a lot of people to Marion. It's been a fantastic thing for this community and the entire region. So we didn't want to see that end, and so we've been communicating with them, and I'm happy to say that we have a contract with the Simmons. We're working through a few minor details, but we're all in agreement. They're very supportive of making sure that what's going on with the stadium and the opportunities that it creates for our region continue to thrive and even grow if that's possible. And I can tell you that will be our intention. So. The stadium, again, would be the cornerstone to sports tourism. I mean, as we travel around the country and see all these different sports venues, it's hard to find something in a municipality like this, like the Rent One Park. It is truly something that's that we need to cherish, and we certainly need to utilize it. And so it's our hope that with the help of Marion, that we'd like to see you guys continue the incentives and work with us as a partner in somewhat of a private-public cooperative spirit in which we all work together, and not just Marion, but the entire region. We all work together to make sure we utilize this facility to its greatest potential. So sports tourism, there's a few different components to it. I think the stadium becomes the cornerstone of sports tourism and kind of like the championship location for the sports things that can happen around here. And then there's also on our on our plan, on our docket of plans, outdoor fields that we'd like to put in place here. We have a lot of land north of the mall, and based on what we've seen, the draw that's created by sports tourism, we think that would be a great place to have a sports complex. And there's also that's the outdoor component to sports tourism, and then there's also an indoor component to sports tourism. And we're still working on details, but we'd also like to bring up that the pavilion happens to be in the middle of all this land, and where we think what we think would be a great location for a sports complex. We think the indoor version of that might be something that could happen at the pavilion. Again, we haven't figured it out completely, but we're working on some things. We'd like to come back to the city at a later time and maybe present something that the city might think makes sense. And of course, we will always do that in a collaborative manner to make sure it's the best for everybody and everybody's affected in a positive way. So I mentioned a lot of different partners that we have, and we have a very special partner that has come to help us with the sports tourism part of what we're doing. These guys, they've been around for a long time. It's SFM Sports, and they're represented here tonight. And these guys know what works. They know what doesn't work. They're not just winging it like Shad and I do most of the time. These guys really know what they're doing. And they do it all over the country. They do it in all different types of big cities, small cities, and so I mean we've been really impressed with them. They've brought a lot of things to our attention that will be very important for us on our retail and entertainment developments. But we'd like for him to come up for a few minutes, if that's okay, just to share with you some of the things that he shared with us that has to do with sports tourism, and I think that you'll see why we believe our retail development and the sports development, why they can work together, and why that'll be an important thing. So his name is Gary, and he's with SFM Sports, and he's probably forgotten more about sports tourism than I'll ever know, but I would like him to come up now if that's okay.
Thank you. This guy's a little bit different, but yeah, it's the same company.
Yeah, so just a few slides from our standpoint. Look, very happy to be a part of Rodney's team, and to Rodney's credit, he's assembled quite a formidable group of individuals already who have really connected the dots at this point on some of the pieces that really need to be at play. And so a little bit about our company. We essentially live and breathe the sports tourism space, and you'll see why in terms of all the facilities that we manage. But yeah, this idea of youth sports, right, and the fact that people are willing to travel, it's a $45 billion industry. Now, the youth and amateur portion of that is about $20 billion, which is still about $5 billion more than the NFL. So that gives you some sense of the scale of this thing, and it's growing at about 5 to 7% on an annual basis. And what's interesting is that from our experience in the industry, even under COVID, youth sports was the one thing that still prevailed, right? There was a period of time in which they were shut down, but it's the one thing that you can really bank on. And it's people traveling from well outside of town into your destination. And as you'll see, we'll go through a few slides, and happy to send this to anybody afterwards. The youth sports tourism audience represents a premium demographic. So these are some of the most affluent households, right? Spending, $1,500 to $2,000 a weekend for sports like volleyball, basketball, soccer, lacrosse, all of those pieces. So in the snapshot here, we've got an organization called Perfect Game, and certainly as we sort of evaluate sort of where the stadium's going, these are some of the sort of event providers that we'll be talking to. Just to give you a snapshot to underscore the $45 billion industry, in 2009, Perfect Game were running 147 events across the country that attracted about 1,300 teams. Fast forward 10 years later to 2019. So 2009 was just after the recession. 2019, they jumped from the 147 events to 1,200 events and 17,000 teams. They're now up to 8,000 events and 66,000 teams. So this is an organization that has ridden the wave as it relates to sports tourism and the phenomenon that sort of exists today. So a little bit about our organization. We were founded in 2003. We've got 1,500 members across the country. We've overseen about $15 billion in planned and funded facilities, 2,500 communities, about 30 million visits on an annual basis. But the thing that we're most well known for is our institutional grade financial forecasts. And those forecasts have to be conservative and they have to be spot on, in part because a lot of organizations turn around and say, we like the numbers, we like the forecast, now will you manage it? So there are very few organizations that are going to have to manage to their own numbers, right? We can be as wildly crazy with numbers as we want to be, but if we're the ones that are accountable at the end of the day, we have to be conservative. And so the real-time, real-world data that is coming out of the venues that we manage, and there's about 32 of them right now across the country, another 8 in development, essentially lays the groundwork for our organization. We're the only strategic partner to the International City Managers Association. We also serve on large think tanks like Aspen Institute's Project Play 2020, which is when you look at venues and sports tourism, there's lots of downtime, there's lots of opportunity to get the community involved, especially sort of the Monday through Thursday. These buildings can sit vacant during that time, most of the activities on the weekend. So there are programs and initiatives for engaging with the community and making sure that they are a part of all the fantastic things that can happen at a sports complex like this. So that's a little bit about us. This is the think tank. You can see our logo next to Nike, NBA, ESPN, all that good stuff. The other thing you should know about us is we do this across the country, about 140 studies on an annual basis. Right now, we have 72 active projects in 30 states, and this is certainly going to be one of them, and 40 projects in the next sale phase. These are the sports tourism venues that we manage right now. Once again, about 32 of them with 8 coming out of the ground, so we really understand the space. And then this is just a quick snapshot, and I'll just run through these high level of some of the high-performing venues that we represent. In 2015, the Myrtle Beach Sports Center came online for a cost of $12.5 million. When you like those numbers, construction numbers today. $12.5 million. To date, they've generated $140 million in economic impact, and those are their numbers, the Myrtle Beach numbers that are coming out of their tourism. Happy to connect you with anybody down there. The economic impact project for 2021 is $23 million. That's annually, that's for the year, and 49,000 room nights. In a similar fashion, well, actually, this is the analytics portion of it, right? Every one of those dots on the map is a mobile device from a company called Buxton. And once again, this is where I said Rodney and his team are very familiar with this, right? In terms of the Harley-Davidson dealership and the RV and all the other stuff that they've done, they've been aware of this willingness of people from cities miles and miles away being willing to travel. And through those mobile device, home locations of the mobile device data, there's a treasure trove of information as it relates to the audience that travels. And so when you run through some of the lifestyle segments, there's 72 of them, some of the more affluent households in America, a balance of sport, girls and boys, and these are the people who really appreciate, sort of the retail component. And I think that's what we're talking about here. We'll run through maybe a few of our others, but ultimately we're talking about sports tourism being a catalyst for a very, very important component here, which is the sports and entertainment piece. Ultimately, that piece is the thing that's going to elevate the customer experience, make the Marion tournament quality complex, ultimately as you piece together a fantastic asset like the stadium, some of the indoor-outdoor stuff that we're all evaluating. But ultimately, when this comes together, that piece is going to be the game-changing piece that ultimately brings people back on a regular basis to Marion. So ultimately, we're talking about a very extraordinary idea from Rodney's side. I mean, this is about destination development. His team gets it. We love it when our clients get it, and so we're just excited to be a part of the project. I'll send this out. Rocky Tops in Gatlinburg, Tennessee is a little town of 4,000 people, certainly a tourist destination already, but on an annual basis, they're generating $54 million in economic impact from sports tourism. 172 million to date, basically. And then in a similar way, we've got the Mobilytics showing where they pull from and the audience segments. Hoover, Alabama is another big complex that we manage, $80 million complex, indoor and outdoor, generating about $50 million annually, and so on and so on. Rocky Mount, so anyway, we're happy to send these out. This is our latest one, Blue Hawk, big $105 million development in Kansas City that ultimately, in a similar fashion, for the first time, we're really starting to see this trend of sports being conceived at the same time that you're conceiving of the retail and the entertainment piece, because that's critical. No more can you take a sports complex and stick it out in the middle of nowhere, because ultimately you are in a landscape and you're competing with, for dollars and for traffic that are ultimately going to make a decision to come back. And the one great thing about Marion is the affordability, right, of the experience. This is not Disney. This is not you're going to Dallas and it's, an exorbitant cost. This is a destination that is ultimately going to bring people back on a regular basis. So anyway, happy to send this out pleased to be a part of the project. And I thought this would be helpful just to understand our perspective and where things are going from here. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Rodney, do you have anything else? You're good? Okay. With that being said, we've been kind of aware of Rodney's group's desire to acquire the ballpark for a few weeks, few months now, and the details of his request in regard to the extension of the sales tax incentive was important for him to make this acquisition. I'm going to call an audible here, and I'm going to go refer us to item number 7C, that we can vote on this now, so Rodney and his group doesn't have to sit through the painfully rest of the meeting. This MOU is intended to give him the commitment he needs from the city to secure his financing. The basic parameters will be an extension of the sales tax incentive from 2037 to 2042. The current agreement also ties the incentive to debt service, and the city will negotiate with other potential applications of the incentive, including maintenance of the ballpark, parking lot, and operational costs. Once those negotiations finalize, the city will consider an amendment to the original agreement currently held by Southern Illinois Baseball Group. The MOU considered before you, that I want you to consider before you in 7C, Also accepts the assignment of the original agreement with Marion Stadium LLC contingent on this future agreement. So with that being said, I would entertain a motion to accept that.
I'd make a motion to approve the MOU with Southern Illinois Baseball Group and Marion Stadium LLC.
I would second that.
Any further discussion? Roll call. Say it again.
The baseball group part is omitted.
Right,
Yes.
yeah. We need to amend that.
Yes.
We need to amend that. This needs to come out. It's just,
Yeah.
take this out.
Okay. Yeah, I will amend that motion and to approve the MOU with Marion Stadium LLC.
Yes, thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
and Mayor Absher is absent.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation, and we wish you all the luck in the world. If there's anything I can do to help, I'm there for you. You know me. I'm a big fan of sports.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Yep. All right, moving on. Now we can go to the consent agenda. If you guys, you're more than welcome to leave. You won't offend us at all. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks again for coming, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Rodney.
Thank you, Randy. All right, bye.
All right. Now we can go to 4, the consent agenda. We've got items A through G.
I'd make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented, items A through G.
I'll second that.
Nobody wants to remove anything and vote it on separately, I take it? We're good?
Good.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay?
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay?
and Mayor Absher is absent.
Okay, item 5A. I debated on how exactly to handle this, but I'm going to read Mrs. Peterson's letter. Mayor Absher and City Councilman, conditions beyond my control make it necessary that I, Yolande Biassy Peterson, tender my resignation as chairman of the Marion Cultural and Civic Center Board to be immediate December 3rd, 2021. It has been a wonderful journey from the start of the building of the arts in Marion with the creation of the Marion Cultural and Civic Center. I have been proud and honored to be a small part of developing the big growth in the arts over the past 45 years through projects and performances at the center. A big thank you goes to subsequent city councils, civic center boards, facility staffs, facility renters, and the public for their support throughout the years. It is with mixed emotions that I must submit my resignation at this time. However, to everything there is a season. My season devoted to the arts have been good ones, but it is now time to pass the torch to the next generation. Thank you once again for all your support for all of these years and the confidence the city has entrusted to me as chairman of the Marion Cultural and Civic Center Board. I am confident that we have established a foundation of art lovers to continue supporting the arts in the future. I'm also confident that together we have created a beautiful legacy for our city of Marion, Southern Illinois, and Illinois as a whole. Thank you for helping make my seasons with MCCC very good ones. Respectfully submitted, Yolande B. Peterson. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
For what she's done for this community. The lives that she's affected and the lives that she's had a very positive influence on over the years is immeasurable. City of Marion, its residents, the Civic Center, and countless generations of art students owe an enormous debt of gratitude to Mrs. Peterson for her years of tireless dedication to the arts in Marion. It is very likely that the Civic Center would not exist today without her passion and willingness to rally the community together for a common goal. So with that being said, I would regretfully accept her resignation. Somebody want to make
Need a
that
motion?
motion?
I will make that motion to accept the resignation of Yolande Biasi Peterson, my neighbor, as chairman of the Marion Cultural and Civic Center Board, effective immediately.
I would second that and also add, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
and Mayor Absher is absent.
Item 6A, Police Department. John, we going to take that one?
Yes, I would make a motion that we would approve the recommendation of myself, Commissioner Barwick, and Chief Fitz to hire Jordan Arnold as full-time dispatcher beginning December 14th, 2021, at the probationary 1 pay rate per the collective bargaining agreement.
I second that.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
and Mayor Absher is absent.
Dave, you want to say something?
Sure. Jordan, come on up. So, part-time dispatch has been kind of a revolving door for us here lately, so the mayor graciously let us consolidate one or two of those positions into full-time, and we held testing and interviews recently, and Miss Arnold rose to the top of that, and we're very pleased to welcome her aboard. She will jump right into the fire. She will actually begin working tomorrow night. So, is there anything you would like to say? Okay, you're going to have to get over this shyness if you're going to get on the radio with my people. I'm telling you right now. So, anyway, Jordan, congratulations. Becky would like a picture with us. So, your people are over there if you want to say anything. I have one more thing on here. Before I do that, Yolande was my 7th grade music teacher, scared the ever-living heck out of me. But I learned to understand her and know what she meant to this town, this community, and what a great lady she was. So Yolande, if you're listening, you will absolutely be missed by everybody. There was to be, if you've read the agenda, there was to be a second hire. That person, when his current employer found out, or at least this is how it was told to us. When his current employer found out that he was getting hired here, they offered him a promotion to stay, and he accepted. So there will only be one hire from us this evening. Thank you.
Make a note, would like to table this. We will readdress this when we get another candidate to fill this position. There is an empty position, but at this time, we'll just table it.
My goal is to have that answer for all of you by the meeting on the 27th.
Okay. Thank you, Chief and John. Item 7A, Cody, do you want to talk about this one? Residential TIF Development Agreement.
I'm going to turn this TV off. Okay, so this is a standard TIF agreement within the residential TIF for a property. I'll get you the address here in just a second. Let's see here. 506 East Carter here in Marion. This is just a standard renovation of that property. Mr. Jack, I believe is how they pronounce it. That's a company owned by Carlos Tanner here in town. So this is just a standard agreement. This is probably the 4th or 5th one we've done with him. within the residential TIF, he's buying up some older properties and putting some money into them, and that's exactly what this TIF was designed for.
Perfect.
Any discussion? Entertain a motion to approve.
I'd make a motion that we approve ordinance 3762, residential TIF redevelopment agreement with Mr. JECC LLC.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay?
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher's absent.
All right, 7B, resolution with IDOT for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code for Williamson County Parkway. Glenn, do you have anything on this, or want to add anything?
I think it's pretty simple. It's at that intersection.
Could you come up to the podium?
It's at the intersection of, I'll just let you tell.
That's being funded by the Highway Safety Improvement Program money. And that's intersection of Williamson County Parkway and 17th Street. And relocating some signal lights, modifying the approaches to the intersection. It's been a high accident rate, and it's being funded by federal funds.
Okay, I mean, this is the one right by Texas Roadhouse and Black
Yes.
Diamond, that
Yes.
intersection? Yeah,
That's that intersection right there by Black Diamond.
really needed.
That resolution is necessary to get the process rolling.
All right.
I'd make a motion to adopt resolution 2021-27, which is IDOT's resolution for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code for Williamson County Parkway and Outer Drive, 17th Street.
I would second that.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay?
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher's absent.
All right, number 8A, Street Department.
Yeah, this is a storm sewer relining project at 1400 Matthew Lane, and it's going to be a costly project to reline it. But it's an area that if you've been down that, if you're familiar with the south end of Matthew Lane, there's a storm sewer that's in dire need of repair, but it's got several utilities in the area that have to be moved to repair it. There's a fence, a horse fence area with possibly even a arena that might be affected. I will say this is going to be a structural liner, so it'll not only seal the water, but it'll provide some support too. So Doug did take bids, and the low bid is Scuda Construction for $70,000 and $70,075. So, and I'd put that as my motion.
I'd second that.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay?
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher is absent.
All right, item 9A, contract extension of the United Medical Response, our ambulance. Cody, do you have anything on this that you want to speak of or to?
So 2 years ago now, we entered into a contract with United Medical Response, which was, still is, I guess, headquartered in Salem, Illinois, to run our emergency response services. I know the chief is here. He can probably speak to their satisfaction with United, and I've talked to Chief Barnett as well. He would echo, I think, anything that Chief Fitz had to say. But they have been absolutely exceptional for the last 2 years. Their response times are better than what we had seen that previous year prior to us signing this contract from a different company, and they really have impressed. They've given back to the community. I think over the weekend they actually had a toy drive out at Walmart, providing a service to kids in Marion that may not be as fortunate with Christmas this year, and they just continue to make investments in this area. They have picked up Heron service since that time. They're under contract with the city of Heron now as well, and they actually bought I'm going to call it a substation out basically at the intersection of 148 and 13 to help better service both communities as well. So they have dedicated services in both Heron and Marion, dedicated headquarters, and then they also have that substation to help cover both communities as well. So they went above and beyond what we've asked of them, and they continue to provide exceptional service, unfortunately, when we need it most. So this is a 6-year extension. There is no cost to the city for this contract, as has been the case for the last 2 years. Obviously, they're equipped to bill at Medicare rates. They're having to bill at Medicare rates, and that would be the same of any insurance. So they do list some costs in this contract for advanced medical service and then basic medical service. And those costs really only come into play, that's what they bill, but obviously medical fee schedules, medical insurance fee schedules dictate what's paid of that. So depending on your insurance would be depending on what you would have to pay as your portion, but I can get into the weeds with that if you'd like, but long story short, they provided exceptional service and we believe that they will continue to do so.
Just as a reminder to those that are listening, watching this, and weren't aware when we signed this contract, the last year that before they came on board, how much was the city spending? It was over $100,000.
Yeah, I believe we were spending, it was either 150,000 a year. I believe it was 150,000 a year is what our costs were for dedicated ambulance service in town. And they submitted their proposal with a goose egg. So that's what we've been paying zero the last 2 years, and that's what they're locking this in for 6 years as well.
Right.
That's a big commitment for us.
Tremendous cost savings and their
Tremendous.
service is awesome.
Yeah. We get our cake and eat it too with
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Entertain a motion to approve that.
I would make a motion that we would approve the contract extension with United Medical Response.
Second that.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yes.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
and Mayor Absher is absent.
And 9B, Cody, while you're there.
Okay. There is a proposal in your packet from the Southern Illinois Coalition for the Homeless. We tried to partner with them last year as we're getting into the cold season here, and I've already been in it. They have already been providing emergency shelter services in lieu of the city or another entity, for example, providing a warming center. So again, in lieu of that, they have asked for us to help supplement that program. They're largely grant funded, so they get grants from other units of government as well, mainly higher, state, and federal. But they've asked for us to dedicate a small portion of the city's ARPA funds to fund that program through this winter. So the city would not operate a warming center under this. Vouchers will be made available through the police department, for example, through the coalition and several other entities in town. If anyone needs assistance, if anyone needs a shelter, they would simply get one of these vouchers. We would put them up in a hotel, or we wouldn't, rather the coalition would. And then they would also provide services to them to try and get them more permanent housing situation. So this is not just a warming center like we operated last year for a week or two. This is hopefully a more long-term commitment to these folks who need permanent housing. And their request of our ARPA funding was $50,000. And this would again support that program and provide more vouchers and allow them to seek out folks who need emergency housing, especially through the cold months.
And the ARPA does allow something like that.
That's correct, yes. Yeah, within the ARPA funds, there is specific language in targeting emergency shelter, both that's COVID related and especially seasonally related as well.
Might also add there is a reporting requirement that is also required.
There is, yeah, and I will work with the coalition, if approved, to get those reports submitted. I have asked them, and they're obviously very willing to supply us reports with how many they've served, what the outcomes are in those situations. And so we look forward to seeing the good that they will be doing within our community.
Now, just to make sure I understand, part of the acceptance of the voucher, there is a certain level of how should I say it? In other words, to receive the emergency shelter, they have to agree to the services that SICH
Well,
offers.
they will get them into the emergency shelter situation first, and then determine
Yes.
their willingness in receiving these services
Yeah.
and what level of service they need. So, you know, some people, people enter homelessness for different reasons, so they will work to determine how to get them out.
Yes. That's good.
We have the ARPA in our account too, don't we already?
Yes,
So
we have
could-
half of it, so it was split out over 2 years. The city's allotment was about 3.4, a little over 3.4 million. We have half of that in our account at present. Unallocated, this would be the first allocation legislatively of any of that money. Obviously, we have to legislate any allocation of that going forward, and we're getting closer on the rest of it, so.
This is not really in relation to that, but last year we approved some temporary housing out by, off Halfway Road. Have we heard how that's worked out?
Yeah, so I think they're up to 3 or 4 of those small shelters now at Cornerstone, I believe is the project you were referring to. They have had 3 or 4 somewhat long-term tenants in there. And again, their requirement of that shelter is that those folks work for Renew. And so they've helped some people graduate beyond that. They've had some people get into more longer-term situations. And they've had some that haven't worked out. But generally speaking, they've continued to add those shelters because it's working.
Okay.
But maybe Chief Fitz can speak to any kind of police complaints we've got on those, but I'm not aware of any. He's shaking his head no, so.
Good. All right, I'd like to then make a resolution to adopt Resolution 2021-26, allocating $50,000 of ARPA funding to the Southern Illinois Coalition for the Homeless for emergency housing response.
I'll second.
Any further discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay?
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher's absent.
Okay, in regard to item 9C, ordinance 3763, Allison Hassler recently has left employment of the city. What would be a generic term? The only one I can come up with is grant writer, but that has morphed into a lot.
Yeah, in theory, I think part of that original position, which was Community Programs Director, which is different than what's in front of you today. I think originally that position, trying to understand the chicken and the egg relationship
Right.
on grant writing. So do you have a project and then do you go find a grant for it, or do you find a grant and then come up with a project for it? So one of the things that Allison did is obviously worked on seeking those grants out, and then us either having a project to go with it or trying to figure out a project. So while the grant writing is definitely a necessity, we have identified some outside resources that can help us with that and help us write those grants, and that may not necessarily take a staff position to do. And so in rethinking that position a little bit upon her departure, Mayor Absher basically saw an opportunity to help businesses, especially in times of the pandemic, figure out how to rebound, figure out how to grow their business, and ultimately make sure that we're retaining any businesses here that we have here in Marion. And so that's in a 30,000-foot view, that's what this position will accomplish. And again, we have an excellent candidate for this position, somebody that has been in business development for several years, and most recently is working currently for Greater Egypt, who's a partner with us that we work with daily in different grant writing, for example. But as a planning commission, they help us on a myriad of issues throughout the city. And so Jennifer Olson is a part of this motion as well. And I don't know if any of you know Jennifer, She's here with us tonight, and she can introduce herself as well. I'll put you on the spot to do that. But Jennifer, again, like I said, is well-versed in business development, and she will report to Glenn in his endeavor in bringing business into Marion, as well as that's just one small facet of the things that he does. But she will work to support his efforts as well as retaining the business that we have and hopefully growing them as well. So I will step aside and let Jennifer introduce herself.
Good evening, I'm Jennifer Olson, and my background is 15 years of commercial lending, leading a Chamber of Commerce, and most recently, as Cody mentioned, Economic Development Director for Greater Egypt. Kind of looking at my history, really the two things that emerge as common themes are loving to work with entrepreneurs, and marketing is kind of the thing that comes most natural to me. And so I'm hoping to join the team of the city and support the incredible work that Glenn does to attract business, but also work with existing business to make sure we retain them, make sure they have the resources they need to expand, grow, add jobs, make additional investment, and that we make everybody feel like they can be the next Rodney and Shad if that's something that they have an interest and ability in. And so removing barriers, giving access to resources, anything that I can do to sort of act as a navigator for a business that has potential to do so. So I appreciate you considering me for this opportunity. I think that there's already so many great things going, but one thing that could be added is some technology that would support the marketing, the outreach, and so I have some skills in that area, so would be happy to contribute those to this wonderful growing city.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. So it is the mayor's recommendation and my motion to create the position of Business Development Director and to recommend the hire of Jennifer Olson to fill that position effective January 3rd of '22.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
and Mayor Absher's absent.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
I didn't think I was going to
Congratulations. Welcome aboard. You did great.
We all are.
Thank you.
Good things are happening in the city of Marion. All right, item 10, Commissioner Reports. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, not a lot to report on, but I will say the street department, I was really proud of them. We with that most reported storm that was in front of us last weekend, they was out in front of that trying to get chainsaws ready and ditches cleaned out and just doing all kinds of things. And thank the good Lord, we just had a few limbs fall. It was really fortunate, but our thoughts and prayers go out to all the folks down in Mayfield and up Edwardsville and whoever had some damage, and just pray that they get back to normal as soon as they can. So cemetery's going good. We're just, this time of the year, we're straightening monuments and getting equipment ready for mowing season next spring. So that's all I have to report tonight.
All right, thank you. Mr. Stecklin?
All right, since the last meeting, Water Department had 8 new service taps, 5 water leaks, 7 services were updated, 5 meter pits were repaired. For the month of November, Marion consumed 50,512,000 gallons of water. Also, the month of November, we had 261 Julie calls. To echo Commissioner Webb about the Mayfield tragedy and things like that, there are a lot of drop-off locations around the city. You can drop off donations today through Wednesday at any of these locations. At Higher Level on Ernestine Lane, Natasha and Tony Stern's Country Financial Office on West Main, any location of the First Southern Banks, at Black Diamond Harley Davidson, Cornerstone Church, and the Marion Elks. The Marion Chamber of Commerce put out a huge list of things that are needed. I mean, you can just imagine what folks need as far as toiletry items, food, pet food, all kinds of different things. I mean, if you saw the any of the newscasts of Mayfield, it's just a complete, utter destruction. So I think people are still probably walking around in shock there. So whatever you could think of, they probably could use it. And so you can get a hold of any of those places from now through Wednesday. And then it'll be transported down to Mayfield. Last thing, this is our last meeting before Christmas, so we want to wish everybody a safe and happy holiday season. I want to give big kudos out to everybody involved in what's been going on in the city. We really didn't get to do the huge city downtown. We didn't get a lot of things because we really were unsure of where the square would be at this point in time, as far as was it going to be torn up, was it not, things like that. But I am here to tell you that get ready for 2022, because next year's downtown is going to be like something this town has never seen before. I do want to give kudos out to street department for if you noticed all the lights outlining all the buildings around the square. That's something that we wanted to get going last year, and we finally got it done this year. So kudos to those guys getting up there, precarious positions to get up on those rooftops and do that. If anybody got to attend the concerts that have been here this past week, they have been phenomenal. Everything from the Irish thing early in the week to Kenny G to the one on Saturday, new song. It's been great concerts, and they continue to have stuff at the Civic Center. Carriage rides have been a huge success once again. I'm sure they will be back for 2022. And correct me, the nativity thing is coming up, right? This weekend. So that happens this weekend. So just a lot of things going on around town, and very proud of what everybody's doing on it. So that's all I've got.
Thank you, John.
Yep.
Mr. Barwick?
We'll start with the fire department for the month of November. We had 13 100 series fire calls. We had 17 300 series rescue and EMS calls, 6 hazardous conditions with no fire, 17 service calls, 6 good intent calls, 17 activated alarms, for a total of 76. And the fires that they did have, they used a total of 2,345 gallons of your water.
Seems
The
pretty,
Marion Police Department for the month, what was that?
seems pretty small.
Yeah,
Take it.
been very fortunate.
Yeah.
For the month of November, Marion Police Department, there were 57 city ordinance violations, 25 warrant arrests, 320 incidents reported, 170 traffic accidents, 5 DUIs. Dispatch for November had 6,133 dispatched calls, 2,045 911 calls, and 308 ambulance calls. Our new dispatcher, she left before she heard those numbers.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yes. The Marion Police Department Narcotics Unit for the month of November had 66 case initiations, 38 arrests, 6 warrant arrests, 9 controlled purchases. There were 42 traffic citations issued. There was 42.2 pounds of cannabis seized, 3.8 pounds of methamphetamine seized, and 14.8 grams of controlled substance seizures. There were 4 search warrants conducted. The detective unit had a total of 25 cases, and among those, we had 3 burglary cases, 2 theft of motor vehicle parts, 3 theft of motor vehicles, 3 for theft, 3 sex offenses, 1 missing juvenile, 2 death investigations, 1 criminal trespass, 1 aggravated battery, and 1 unlawful use of weapon in a domestic, among a few other cases. The animal control had a total of 282 calls for the month. 132 of those were just general questions, 67 for at-large, 4 aggressive, 26 for lost animals. We had a total of 16 dogs intake and 24 cats that we took in. For total intake was 43. And just want to remind again, everyone, if you are in the market to adopt a cat or a dog, that we have several down that you might be able to adopt. Keep in mind, these need to be forever dogs or cats. Don't just get a dog or a cat and then not care for it and love it. So think about it, but see what we have and help us out.
I have one more kudo that I forgot to mention. I don't know if anybody went online to book a carriage ride or not, but that was the most seamless, easiest thing. So I don't know, Terrence or Jessica, whoever was in charge of that, kudos. Okay, all you. Okay. But it really was. I was amazed how easy it was. Oh, well, let me tell you what. However that happened, it was fantastic. And man, I hope we can continue to do stuff like that. I see big things for that same system. I'm thinking ahead for next year for the ice skating and things like that, anything else we do, because I mean it sends you automatic reminders, it sends you everything, you know, and it was just, you could pay online. I mean, it's just simple and easy. So yeah. Well, I remember, you know, I'm thinking back in years past how we had people coming in here to get tickets for things, and it was just, well, it was controlled chaos, but it was chaos. And this was just, we walked up the night we had it, and they knew who we were when we walked up. They were ready to go, and off we went. And I mean, just like that. So kudos to everybody involved in that. So
Awesome.
that's it. Sorry.
I don't think we have anything under the miscellaneous category. No need to go in an executive session if you guys don't.
Nope.
That being said, wish everyone a Merry Christmas this is our last meeting, as John said, before Christmas. So enjoy your families and enjoy the Christmas holiday season. Like a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second that.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher's absent.
Thank you all for attending.